Training camp kicks off this week for your Minnesota Vikings, and want to go over the state of the roster. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I would have argued that the offense was as good as it gets. You know what it is that you expect. However, now it's kind of a bleep show. Defense is actually, I would say, more stable compared to the offense. So I want to start with the defense first. The two positional groups that I would say you're in a good spot, you know what to expect, nothing to worry about there, are the linebackers and the safeties. So let's start with the linebackers. Your two inside guys are going to be Ivan Pace Jr. and Blake Cashman. Your edge rushers are going to be, as far as starters, Jonathan Greenard and first-round pick Dallas Turner, who just signed his rookie contract, as well as J.J. McCarthy. And then at safety, your two starters, 1-2, Cam Bynum and Harrison Smith, with Josh Metellus being the Swiss Army knife utility positionless player. You can put him pretty much anywhere on the defensive side of the ball. Your two areas of weakness start with the interior defensive line. No shock there. That's really a downright disaster. Harrison Phillips, assuming that he's going to be the nose. You need two defensive ends. And I think it's open season. It's up for grabs. Just, can somebody look decent? And if so, you get the job. Congratulations. It's going to be a battle royale between Jerry Tillery, Jonathan Bullard, Jaquelin Roy, Levi Drake Rodriguez. Somebody, anybody stick out. That's probably the weakest point. Not even probably, definitely the weakest point on this defense. The second area of need, not nearly as bad as the interior defensive line, could use some work, is the cornerbacks. And we already know Byron Murphy Jr., he's your CB1. It sounds like Shaq Griffin is going to be your CB2, at least headed into training camp. And CB3, going back to Alec Lewis and his observations on minicamp, according to his eyes, he believes that the third best corner on this team is Mekhi Blackmon. So if that is the case, it appears that CB3, you're going to have a battle between Mekhi Blackmon and a Caleb Evans. And then going to the offensive side of the ball, and this is where it just gets absolutely nuts. Offensive line, your two guard spots apparently are up for grabs, not just left guard, but right guard as well. It's going to be a triple threat match between Dalton Reisner, Blake Brandel, and Ed Ingram. Sam Darnold, how is he going to look? J.J. McCarthy, how is he going to look? And with McCarthy, you can't lose either way. All you can do is win when it comes to McCarthy this year for the Vikings. Because if he looks great, wonderful. You're ahead of schedule. If he looks clearly like a rookie quarterback, then all right, fine. We understand going into this thing that this is going to be a slow cook process. Tight end, TJ Hawkinson, we know he's going to start the year off either, whether it's short-term IR or on the PUP list. He's going to miss the first couple of games to start the year. But we knew that. And I would say with Robert Tonyan, who, according to Alec Lewis, wouldn't be surprised if he's the third leading receiver on this team. Combine that with, hey, Johnny Munt / N'Keal Harry, and maybe you can get something out of Josh Oliver as a receiver. He's known more for his blocking, but as a receiver, I would say that's more than enough. Not to completely erase the absence of Hawkinson, but to execute damage control. But the reason why this is a bleep show is because of receiver. And it's all because of Jordan Addison. A couple of weeks ago, we were sitting here talking about wide receiver 3. Had a whole ass discourse about that. Wide receiver 3. Is it a big deal? Whatsoever are we going to do? Well, forget wide receiver 3. Take that topic and throw it into the trash. We now need to talk about wide receiver 2. because the man is going to get suspended. I would be shocked if he doesn't. So to start the year, you're going to be without your tight end 1 due to injury, and likely your wide receiver 2 due to dumbassery. Jordan Addison, what he did was disrespectful to his team, to his former teammate who sadly is no longer with us, Kyrie Jackson, who he, along with 2 other individuals, tragically lost their lives because someone else decided to be stupid behind the wheel. You saw that, Jordan Addison. And then you went ahead and said, I'm going to be stupid behind the wheel as well. And then going to go on Instagram and archive and hide all your Vikings related posts because I'm mad and I'm feeling some sort of way. And we can sit here and talk about all day long about how he's young and he's going to maybe, hopefully, mature later on in life. But legally, this is a grown-ass man. You have more incidents off the field, negative incidents off the field, than you have seasons played in the NFL. You are now a risk to not be available for your team. Get into the football aspect of this, because I promise you, Jordan Addison, no one in that organization, even if they publicly will sit here and say the opposite, no one in that organization, forget about availability being the best ability, not with this guy, it's reliability. No one in this organization can truly rely on you to keep your head out of your ass. Grow up. And as far as getting back to the football aspect of it, you don't have a wide receiver 2, a quality wide receiver 2 on this roster. I like Brandon Powell. I think he can be a serviceable wide receiver 3, but it changes everything. Sign Hunter Renfrow. That will certainly help. Or if the Panthers are willing to be done with Adam Thielen, that would be your best case scenario. However, I wouldn't bank on that happening. Carolina, they really need Bryce Young to not look like a bust going into his second year. And Adam Thielen, he helps Bryce Young versus taking him away, putting Bryce Young at a lower ceiling. To where things are just going to be, their offensive line isn't great. I think they're going to keep Adam Thielen. But this puts the Vikings in a situation offensively where you're going to have to run heavy 12 formations. Alec Lewis talking about, hey, Robert Tonyan wouldn't surprise me if he's the third leading receiver. As long as Jordan Addison is going to be out, Robert Tonyan is going to have to be your second leading receiver. I don't think you're going to get that from any of the actual wide receivers. You're going to have to get it from the tight ends. Robert Tonyan, Johnny Munt, N'Keal Harry. You're going to need a strong, because I was talking about this before. Man, if just have top half rushing attack in this league. Now, without that threat, with Justin Jefferson getting blanketed more than he already does, you need more than a strong, you need an elite run game from Aaron Jones and Ty Chandler. You're going to have to run into the 12 as the heavy formations offensively. It changes everything. And I'm on the edge. I'm at the point now where you've got one more dumbass move and I'm going to shout to the rooftops, trade this guy. And if you want to have a whole discourse about trade value and how it's going to be a sinking ship, you're better off keeping him because everybody knows he's a locker room problem. You're maybe going to get 5 cents on the dollar. I don't care. One more dude, and I want him gone because you're now a risk. But staying on offense, the running back position, Cam Akers, that's a weird thing that just happened. So he just signed with the Houston Texans. Although a couple of weeks ago reacted to it, the Vikings signed Cam Akers. And this isn't a mistake. It's still very much on ESPN.com, Minnesota Vikings transactions tab, July 2nd, that the Vikings re-signed Cam Akers pending a physical. But there was no updates. It just, okay, pending physical, and now all of a sudden he's with the Houston Texans. What happened? Just guessing here, this tells me that he didn't pass his physical. Either that or maybe Cam Akers called it off with the Vikings to go to the Texans. I'm not sure. But either way, the possibility, the hope of having fresh legs at running back, it's not necessarily going to be there. What you would want to get from your RB3, you're going to have to split those duties between your RB1 and RB2. Aaron Jones and Ty Chandler, Myles Gaskin can be your pass catching back in obvious passing down situations. But what Jordan Addison has done has created a wrench in this offense for however long, presumably, he's going to be suspended for. Going to special teams, Will Reichert, likely I expect for him to be your kicker. Ryan Wright, though, is there a chance that he loses his punter job to Seth Vernon? That's something to keep an eye out for. But defense, before the whole Jordan Addison thing, defense, that's the one that needs the most work. But offense, I mean, it changes everything. You don't have the luxury of having two elite receivers out there. And you know what? Forget the football stuff. Stop being stupid. How about that? You're in a position that others are begging for right now. And so far, you just don't seem to give a damn about anything or anyone except for yourself. Grow up.